Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Assets and Facilities Committee meeting on the 26th of January. We'll take the information as read, apart from I will read out the recording. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and or live streamed. I remain in the room to consent to this. If you have concerns, please speak to the clerk before the meeting commences. Any apologies? Any declarations of interest? Like the minutes of the last meeting held on the 24th of November. Have we had them, read them? Any concerns? Apart from the action point that's. So can I have a proposal then, please? Thank you, Colin. One second, please. All in favour? Thank you. The action points that then. No.
I was just saying that's all again.
Any
The rest of us.
okay.
I'm afraid.
She wants sense of a good idea, good wins.
Well, what I should have said was we have replaced it, but it's gone.
Right, major projects update this please, the replacement CCTV.
Okay, well, the prime objective at the moment is with the toilets. So the extension to the CCTV systems is all focused on the provision of the CCTV in the toilet blocks as they go live. And once the broadband services are provided to those toilets, we'll then look at expansion as per budget of further CCTV into the town. We're not doing anything with that until broadband services are provided, but hopefully they will be all in place soonest. And also we need some of those services to assist with the urban management systems and such like that. The toilets will have their own recording devices within the toilets, so it's not imperative that they stream to here yet. There's been a bit of a problem with security services because of access to postal address file. Certain suppliers said they can't provide a service where a postal address doesn't exist. Well, it isn't a residential building, it's a toilet block, and it doesn't have a letterbox. So Royal Mail ain't playing ball. Although we have had to have unique property reference numbers created, and I've done that for all the buildings, and other utilities have provided against that. So the impasse that comes with the broadband utility providers, and I'm still banging the air to try and get it resolved. But I did just literally speak to an Openreach man who was at Eastgate Car Park just now doing surveys, so hopeful that now will get done soonest.
Can I just throw one in there? When I was looking at the webcams from the Coast Guard station, there's a little thing on their site that says if anybody's got any spade with Openreach, can they get them to get 5 of the last 150 metres? Is there anything we can do while we've got people working for?
You want fibre service at Jubilee.
Eventually,
May have them as well, because if they feed Jubilee with fibre, then they have to go past the NCI.
Can we tell them anything along those lines that we will get there, but that's not priority?
I'm just speculating, depends which internet provider they use, because we've come up against the problem with Airland, which was Devon's favourite for a while, can use BT Openreach ducts, but not necessarily will.
Well, they say BT Openreach, that's what that is on there.
They've said, we've told them that there is Openreach in the area, and they've said that we're then not prepared to use it.
That's Airland.
Airland won't use the Openreach infrastructure.
Instead, the Coast Guard station says if anyone has any sway with Openwatch, so I just wondered.
well, you need to put in an order. If they've raised an order with Openreach and we subsequently raise an order with Openreach and they're in the same vicinity, then it may be a bit of,
Yeah, there may be a bit of.
Because they'll have to get done anyway as they turn off copper landlines.
that's right.
Yes.
So it's a question of when, not if.
Well, it struck me as being, there's got to be something fundamentally silly if for as such an emergency service, they couldn't actually get the last 150 yards with fibre.
Yes.
So it makes me think there's some sort of stumbling block there.
Well, I'm guessing that, as Ian says, the copper network needs to be replaced. I'm guessing they've got telecommunications into the yacht club, the surf life saving and all the canoe club other things. So they're all being fed at the moment. So
Well, certainly the Coast Guard's got all sorts of clever stuff in there. They're really kitted out.
But they're not the Coast Guard, so they're not an emergency service.
No, I know.
Well,
I think that's such. Yeah.
Yes.
Fine.
okay.
Yes, thank you. We then go on to toilets. Going on toilets.
Well, allegedly, after today's meeting's still on from Eastcliff on Monday. And the Den on the 16th.
Thank you.
They've reassured us that they're still going to hit those deadlines.
They are putting the rainwater harvesting tank in the Den as we speak.
Yes.
They're quite
That's a big hole.
Yeah.
The meter connection at Eastcliff is tomorrow. And snagging is scheduled for potentially Thursday PM.
Say, not having broadband to that has security and such.
Well, no. So we have an option that we're going to explore when it's marked down. Well, CCTV provided onto the system and everything on Wednesday.
Will it mean that we will have to open a manual?
Yeah. But cleaners, the cleaning company that we've got on board are, aware and
Yes. Any question?
Are we going to do an official opening or is that just a handover and enough?
I think we'll do an official opening in the way you do an official opening, which is some time after it actually opens.
Well, yes, I know that was,
Yes.
that was why I asked really in that,
Suggest the time for that is probably when the Den goes 2 weeks later. Because obviously that's more impactful block than any of the others. Planning has been agreed for Key Road. Agreed for Key Road. Hopefully the point in today or tomorrow. Just waiting a drainage issue. All other issues are resolved.
so they sorted the hole out at Key Road.
No, it's got to be filled with concrete.
No.
But now that the structural engineers have decided how that is to be done, then we've asked them to re-establish the program for installation. Because it's sat in the factory finished. Once the concrete base is there, then it should be, particularly at Key Road, which is the smallest, simple. Electricity is there and water is there. So, yeah.
Have we given any thought about protection on the entrance? Protection against proximity.
Only CCTV. So if someone did, their chances of getting away with it are very small. Because the block is internally and externally covered with CCTV. Someone did, I think, see something on social media that someone was making the paving slabs that had been.
Yeah, someone pulled up in a car with a trailer with a boat on the back and we're grabbing the good slabs and putting them in the back of the boat the other day. So I seen that firsthand.
If we get the date and time,
Actually,
when, then we can probably evidence that for the
is
police.
this from the applicant? What, from paper?
yeah, this was Saturday.
Because I know a lot of the coping stones were washed off the top, weren't they, going?
All the
That's
slabs in
water.
front, all the slabs in front of the,
Oh, that's it, right, really.
So all the planters on the seafront, the beach side of it, all the slabs are basically lifted up and floated round packets of planters. But yeah, there's someone down there Saturday afternoon with
Whereabouts?
up on Dover Road that was.
Yeah, but which,
If you're on the far side of it,
Up near swimming pool that was. Skate-
There's the skate park.
Skate football.
okay.
I think Rob Fitch may have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll have CCTV and we can evidence it there.
our vehicle,
Car, it was a car lot.
Okay, we get the registration, then the girls and boys in blue can do their thing.
that's credible.
Huh? We're likely people getting nicked.
Right. Anything else on toilets? Go on to my little bag again.
This is yours.
Yeah. Chatting benches. Put this proposal to, well, the official title actually is happy to chat benches. And, I don't know whether anyone has investigated or looked into these. But they're not new in the UK, they're becoming a lot more popular. And, they're being used basically to support people that are lonely. Basically haven't got anybody to talk to. And they, the idea was put to me actually by, people in, Probus who, again, were elderly, who have got on the verges of dementia. And they've heard about them and I read up on them and it seemed a great idea. We put a sign on, I mean, the normal signage, just says, the happy to chat bench. Sit here if you don't mind someone stopping to say hello. So that's, you can have a sign. I mean, some of the wooden benches that have actually got that etched into as you say, it's a happy to sit to chat bench. And personally, I think it's be good for the town to have these. And speaking to Ian, in the toilet bench.
Well, we have benches that are coming out of their tenure that are getting into more benches in the past, and Joe did a lot of work last year to try to contact people, because obviously they're 10 years plus ago from the initial contact details that we had. So we've done a lot of work in trying to follow up on addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, postal addresses. Even we sent people letters that we had addresses for to say, you know, your tenure, or your 10-year tenure, sorry, that's what we could say, has expired. Would you like to do a refurb of your bench, or are you happy to pass it now and we'll use the space for somebody else? So there is money in the budget, as you say, Keith, to do refurbishment of a number of those benches for next year. So, well, perhaps 2 or 3 of these even, just to
We discussed it. I would like to put too many out because you know,
dilute it a little bit.
dilute
Yeah,
it.
yeah. One, 3 people sat on 3 individual benches on their own.
You know, one possibly 2.
Yeah.
So, and then again, I don't know how you feel about it. To me, that they would say people that use it would possibly reading through actually look after clean around them.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. We don't want people painting.
No, we don't.
Sanding them down or anything like that.
But it's just that they would own them if you want.
Yeah,
I know it's
No, it's
council asset, but they want to sort of take ownership.
Yeah, yes, yes. If there's a voluntary offer to be inside in,
Yeah.
and we got it.
I actually met with Steve,
In fact, how's it fit?
Secret CDS,
Yeah.
last week. He was actually saying there may be some plumbing available through them, towards chat benches, so that could be something worth looking at.
Well, can I tell you what's happened at Tunbridge? Because this has actually come forward as a notice of motion from Chris Clarence. Because in fact, in front of where he lives, there's about 6 or 8 benches. And he has for some years looked after somebody, close to where he lives. who was saying, not long before they passed away, how lonely they were. And he's put this forward because he says that they're normally painted bright yellow. Something along that normally used nationally, so all chatty benches are the same in colour with 2 words. So that conflicts with what you said, Keith.
That can be any colour. I mean, there's some here painted 3 colours, green, yellow and blue, sorry, 4 colours, green, yellow, blue and red. But others are shown, just the white one, basically plain benches.
This is what Chris did anyway. So chatty benches written on the plaque before anything else is there. Memorial, so you can add memorial walk learning. I then wrote to the results team because I think we would have a problem if we did have some bright colours because the conservation area seemed rich. And I was also aware that we'd be told we couldn't have any more benches.
So we can only replace benches. We can't have any additional benches. But as Cliff said, there are a number that are going to become available. And I believe Teambridge don't do their benches anymore. So as theirs rot, they're content for us to take those places. But I think the colour is probably quite sensible because if you're on Timber Promenade, there are 50 benches. What you're not going to go along and read every plaque, are you? So I think you probably, if there is a national colour, then maybe we should do that.
Well, unless there's some site that looks like there's a sign there that you could put up behind.
I mean,
Bench maybe that's
it's
a chat.
Yeah, not on the bench.
Not on the bench, but behind it maybe, or to make it up more obvious.
better on the bench.
Well, okay. It's just room for a sign. The slats are not that big.
No, I mean, each side, each
Fix it across the
Yeah,
slab.
okay. Fix it across the slab.
We've got yet. I don't know, that's a budget meeting, but it's got supposed to go to a Cambridge Council meeting. I don't know, the notice of.
But that won't affect him with the I'm pretty sure Cambridge aren't going to provide any benches.
No, but my point being, I'm concerned that Cambridge will scotch it by saying you can't have bright yellow benches in our conservation area on the seafront.
If I could pause the same, I would say to you, sometimes it's better to seek forgiveness than ask permission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, what about if we could have one of these benches close to the support board by the railway station as we bring to the, is there?
It's not Cambridge land.
So we can't do that.
I think, and I spoke to Keith before, there's a potential location by the Den Boat. So one could go there, and then I think Keith's second choice was when a position becomes available on a contract, do a second one there, and then see how it goes.
I wondered about Sylvia's, because we own that.
Well, we own them all.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not relative to anybody. I mean, my son knows it's there.
We start our park on it.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be quite fun. She might appreciate it.
There's also the thing that's on it, but if there's a national colour, just flagging up saying this is really good, but it also, there's a plus and minus side of it. So one isn't that if you flag this up and say, this is how much support, but it's also paying to your money, it's. Well, because I think people like maybe because I'm talking more, but I've got someone that I can talk to someone that's on there, but it's the people who can't. But I think what we're saying about the sign to say I have to draw on that page is less less flagging it up, but Bill, that's rather than let's look at this bright yellow shed.
From what I've read on the blue, there are many blues. There's no national coverage or whatever colours you would paint. I mean that shows children 604 coloured one. Because actually they're there for all age groups, for children, right to the elderly.
The thing is, it says pick a name for your chat benches. You don't have to call them chat benches. Include a small note about what change to do, how it will work. Try and use simple language in clear font to make this easy to understand and read. And be as creative as you like with the signage. The more appealing it is, the more likely people are to notice it. So there's no drill, I don't think, or hard and fast rules around what you use them for, or how you advertise them. Like, you can put them on social media, we put them on the website, say where they are, with a map to show the locations on maybe as well, and or pointing people.
Crack on with the trust too.
Yes, please.
Like you said.
Yes.
Yes.
Does that need to be voted on, or is
I've just seen the budget.
so it's just a matter of, yeah, okay.
You could put it in the minutes. We're going to put one on the promenade and one on the bed to start.
That's that 2 with a particular colour.
So they'll just be our standard benches with some size appropriate signage, I think.
I looked at the decent side.
Yeah, that's it. And that's not look trying, they need to be obvious, I think, don't they? Yeah.
Must admit, I'm a little concerned with children. Hello, little girl. If you want to chat.
I would only worry if it was near the play park. We're not there yet, so.
I mean, that's looked at in schools, train stations, places of worship, parks and public spaces, and that's the 5 main areas that they go. I just think it's something that we've got going on to the wide world and the awareness and the age of our population that allow
It's an easy win.
yeah, exactly. That's my phrase. Is it? My phrase is.
Oh, mine's cost neutral.
That's actually.
But cost neutral, easy win.
So, Kit, would you like
All your succinct units.
one of
Oh, no, I've
the
been
ladies in the office to come up with an idea for the thing? Should someone ask them to come up with something off Canva to make up a thing that we can put it out and see how much it costs us together. We've got a sort of fairly friendly sign company that we use to just get quotes from them. So they are down a bit more expensive.
So what kind of wording would you like on that?
Well, I think we follow on with what they're mainly using. I'll give you this.
Yeah,
It's a happy to chat bench.
That's good.
Right, everyone? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Triangle's booking policy then.
We had a request, then the request was for, it was for every Saturday, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that, every Saturday. And maybe, but I said, well, we'll take it to councillors because then someone else comes along. What do you say? Or do you limit it so many months at a time? The argument would be, well, the farmers market is booked a year in advance. But I thought we should be aware of it because, of course, if someone takes that booking, then potentially other bookers that may want that part of the triangle will be saying no to them.
I didn't think it was every Saturday.
That's the request we had.
Is this the teeny tiny market at that end? It's not the main one.
Yeah, well, we've already split the triangle in two. We did that last year sometime because you can have two things comfortably that don't interfere with each other. Then this booking came in, which essentially says nobody else can have a Saturday at that end.
Currently, they're looking for 2 Saturdays a month starting in March. Right now, that's the current.
So that wasn't the request, was it? No, the
That was
request
like
was,
the compromise assessed.
And am I right that, is there a fee for booking triangle?
currently no. But maybe if we actually got official jurisprudence to manage the triangles we made, because it's becoming far more onerous than it was. But you don't be talking of tenner, isn't it? No, it's free.
I think because you personally speaking, they're aware of the fact that other agencies wish to use the triangle, it seems a little bit unreasonable. Though if you're only talking about half the triangle, that someone should be, because you've got farmers market, if they're doing twice mark, that's three widths that it out of the market. And it doesn't seem, it's not unreasonable, but for example, farmers market, yes, you can have that once a month. Then it's not unreasonable for someone else to actually have that. I think for them to take something twice a month, it's at this stage, it's not balanced for other people. Doesn't seem like a person to take.
Maybe we put all the council events in the calendar. But obviously.
But there are other agencies that want to try and book the triangle. Before it's, I don't know how. Believe that there's more to it now. We still have, as you know, I volunteer at the Alice Cause. I'm aware of that and have to more put things on, as do other charities.
The police, they like to go.
Sorry?
The police like to go.
Yeah. I think twice a month isn't right to other people and you know, it's.
Unless you allow people to book it. But then if you get other inquiries and you're finding that they're not able to book, you could reduce it down, so we can only limit it to once a month. You base it on the auspices that that's the agreement, that if you get other inquiries and they're dominating it.
And it would be very helpful either if they did want to book it. We didn't have a booking in, but we said they could book it. It seems like they should, at last minute, depending when the cutoff would be. And, if it hasn't been booked, so.
Sorry, I'm not sure
Sorry, it's not unreasonable to give to it, as we've already got one organisation that has a booking once a month, to give someone else requesting the same type of thing. Parity, but then again, what is it they are doing? Because the farmers market isn't in this community. What is this organisation doing? I don't know.
It's another market.
It's another market. So it's not unreasonable to have a market twice a month in Teignmouth, and then still leaving slots for other people to use other organisations.
I'm trying to clarify whether the farmers market just has the main area in the triangle, right?
Yeah, near the fact.
The market that's booking is the teeny tiny people from
The other side and into the party.
Are they actually only wanting the little triangle, or are they going to have the big triangle as well?
Currently, they're only looking for the fountain.
Right, so the two things aren't the same. That's what I'm trying to get at. Somebody could still book the main triangle quite happily for three weeks of the year, 3 weeks of any month. And the teeny tiny people could have the little triangle every week. Or, if you wanted to make it 3 so that there was an opening for somebody else or whatever, rather than blanket coverage. But the two things are.
Maybe it's how long you let people book ahead. Because if you let them book a year ahead, maybe that's too far.
Maybe you do a 3-month cycle or something. So
That's possibly better, because I think the argument coming back to you would be, well, we want tenure, we don't want to suddenly find we're out of our area because we won't be able to rebook somewhere else. Maybe 6 months would be a better idea.
And I think if you say that, but it's that sanction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not that it just.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somebody somewhere is supposed to be sorting out something with the farmers market, are they not? This keeps coming up because the farmers market take the mickey completely in terms of how they come, how they go, how they arrange.
I don't think anybody's going to sort that out unless you resolve who manages the triangles, which is about fair thing at the moment.
Well,
because every time we've tried to do that, there's been an intervention from a part of Teambridge, basically saying, well, it's our triangle, Flodger. My retort to Teambridge and Devon has been, well, that's fine. You manage it. Off you go. We're not doing this for glory or money.
I wondered whether this was a sort of politically sensible time to raise it again, because they seem to be
Well,
keen to offload stuff.
as their LGR, it will come under one. not two. So it becomes simpler. But I would imagine post LGR isn't really interested because they have a lot on their plate. But if you think 6 months at a time, that would do. We'll apply that to everybody, of course.
Yeah. I think my concerns would be who are looking at some of the problems we have with the farmers market, i.e. the cars coming in, and the same with the school time. We're going to get more regular vehicles damage to the triangle itself. And how do we sort of cover that cost if we're not actually charging for the use of the road?
We wouldn't pay the repair because we don't own it. It's basically down to debit. Of course, there is the issue if the farmers market's in and there's something at the other end, how do they get out?
There's some.
As you are aware, 2 weeks in December, you lent me the keys. And I didn't take the ball out. I took the ball out. And I actually just banked them and they all disappeared. And that's something that personally I've said to the farmers, if this is going to continue, then we need someone to be able to do that.
So it would need to definitely come under their insurance. And if those bollards are coming out more regularly, I would have to get that agreed with them because that's not what I'm designed for.
That would work.
Yeah. It's ingress and egress. So,
But again, I mean, if the farmers markets are going to use that portion to try, then they don't just use that portion to try, do they? They come outside the benches. So it's more than just the images section.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. I mean, we just split it into little triangle, big triangle. So whether they're in the benches or out doesn't really matter. And of course, if you've got a booking at both ends, then you might not be able to get to the big triangle.
Well, if you had only 2 bookings in the first instance of the little triangle, which will not on the weeks that farmers market is, because that's the last Saturday of the month, you could have the teeny tiny people on the first week of the month, third week of the month, and the farmers market on the 4th, then they've still got access to get out because the teeny tiny people won't be there while we try to resolve the situation. You can make that as an offer, but I mean, the farmers market have always got away with murder. They turn inwards all the time, which detracts everybody from looking in the shops because you go into the market and say you don't look at the shops, and it's a really simple thing. They could just turn their stalls out the other way, but they won't. And so it goes on, and they just come and try to come and go as they please, although that's now been put together a bit.
I agree with you. The problem is it's not signal that they're changing. It's the movement of vehicles, not so much before the market, but after the market, as they finish it too. And it's every man for himself. I mean, and that's the problem.
Well, surely they need somebody to manage it. They should be managing it. It shouldn't be down to you or anyone from here.
No, but
We've had this.
It should be strong or
if we became responsible for the triangles, we'd have to have some sanction. What the sanction would be, sorry, no more bookings. That's the bottom line, isn't it? Or until you get your ducks in a row, you can't come back.
But presumably we can't meet with the farmers market because we technically don't control their booking, do we?
Well, we do. They still book through us, but when we had a clash, whenever it was a year and a bit ago, then Team Roofs went in. And said, well, we started this. Well, that's fine. As I said at the time, if you want to do it, you do it. But you can't have 3 people managing the same thing. And Devon have no interest in managing it.
We had a problem, not a problem. A guy actually had a ticket from the enforcement officer, which he argued seems to pay the ticket.
Right? Which they shouldn't be able to do because Devon enforcement officers. Yeah.
So
Well,
So I'll be saying then that let's use the team trying to get rid of schools. So you can have it twice a week, twice a week. Or not.
Twice a month, 6 month booking period.
No, object, I think it's still think it should be just once a month as a signature period. I mean, there is the slide, it's very much, we want to try and bring people into the town for shopping. But I feel that I'm the opinion that what we may be doing is preventing others. I mean, we could try it for say 3 month period, 6 month period, and then review whether it should be going up for what's not. Because also we need to have the fact come in summer months, we have the Punch and Judy, we have other entertainment, you know, for to put in the triangle. We may be sort of, you know, so we may actually be not doing our self-service. I think once, I feel that once a month is sufficient. To begin with.
So the summer entertainment is weekday. We don't do Saturdays anyway, so that doesn't matter.
Thank you.
I would say let it look out twice a month to the 6 month point and then review it.
All I'm worried about is if we say once a month and the triangle
It's empty for 3 weeks.
is empty for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Whereas you've got the drift between the two bookings from them, week 1, week 2, week 3, whichever 2 they select, and that could be 2 then. And then you've got the 4th week, you've got the farmers market, so you've got an event going on in 3 weeks out of 4. And you've still got a free one for somebody else to take up.
Perhaps we may need to review how we book Big Triangle. But if it is booked, how do they get in and out? And equally so, if both ends is booked, forget the bollards, how does the fire engine get in there? How does an ambulance get in there? So I think we just need to think about, I mean, you know, Waterloo Street could be the route, but we'd have just have to make sure it's clear all the way. Okay, so up to twice a month for 6 months, and then we'll come back.
And not on the Saturday that the other month was on.
Yeah, any of the first 3 weeks in the month.
But you've got 4 or 5 weeks every month.
Yeah. Because the farmers market is always the last
Last
month of the
Saturday.
month, and that's written in stone.
I'll go back to Sally.
You need to open that.
I would suggest we need a proposal of that. There you go. Thank you, Mr.
all in favour?
One stone.
Against.
Right. Bitten house branding.
This is not iron. Either way. All right.
I think it's twice.
Graham? What iron brand?
How the brochures.
Yes, got some piggies in it, of course. Definitely, I would.
Is it much different from the previous? I should check it.
Yes.
More comprehensive.
Yeah. Not so sophisticated, but yes.
Okay.
More fit for purpose.
Yeah. I have a couple I think it's really good. And it stands is, there's a couple of comments. On the second page, it's just introduction. We have an introduction which says what your next meeting, class or waiting. And then the last paragraph of that, the introduction like the hook, it says whether it be for a meeting or the other class, but not better.
Okay.
That's kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
Made me smile. For your next meeting, class or wedding. So, how many weddings are they going? Same thing.
I'm going, Scott. I know exactly what you were going to say.
Something you're asking.
All right.
I was just asking.
I meant to.
I'm through for that. So I'm free.
You're in the minority now. So that makes you feel comfortable. Give it a second chance.
Yeah,
Have you got any others, Tom?
Do we give attention to our arts? Or do we, because there are, I think that's it.
they are listed on a national arts database,
Art UK,
Art UK.
and that is advertised through the website as well. And you can actually buy prints from Art UK, or from if you're so, but
We don't mention them in this, it's we're far mentioning.
Are you going to book a room because of the artwork?
Are you gonna vote on it house?
we're not going to
Yeah,
start doing.
They're historian, so that has come into
I don't know if we're going to start doing art tours or anything. You need somebody who knows all about it.
Is that linked with the publicity down for the new house? Or are we in any way joined up with them?
I mean, they're not all loonies.
No, and
Yes,
that's, I mean,
some
we
of
have
them.
probably one of the collections of loonies in the town. I make no further comment.
There's an idea as to whether there was a place in here to mention that they're there. Whether that's for it's.
And what you've mentioned, that is our application for the town of culture.
You could put in.
I think there is room because I think we stretch things out a bit to fill some gaps, so we could create a gap
You could
to.
ask Holly to include something to say that they're, within the rooms, the room hire rooms, there are a number of artwork by local artists.
And reference them to Art UK,
Yeah.
so that if they want to know more, they can.
Maybe if this is an online thing as well, you can link to the Art UK website. Well, if it's a digital brochure that's available through the website, or you can put the link in brackets. Enable lens, totally.
Sorry.
If you've got,
Google Lens.
you've got a link on the page now, Google Lens, and that would just,
That's it.
yeah.
And then my last question was, is the QR code only for meetings and classes, or is it also for the wedding? It seems to be exclusive.
Just takes us to our booking
Takes
page.
too long.
So it says, if you wish to book Lytton House and Room Carnival celebration, which is awesome, says, then visit the website, go to services to Margaret, so sort of scan the QR code below. Then, if you wish to book a wedding, someone about this, you please contact the office below.
Right, so just like that,
yes. The wedding is
that is
exclusive.
for the room hire, not for weddings. So
You don't use the QR code.
we don't allow people to book weddings through the room hire facility. They have to contact the office.
Okay, it's spot on. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Can I be mine? The third page, page 11 in your set. It says pavilion, the golf club, the golf club. Should we not actually put that thing there, that is up slightly there? It says pavilion, which doesn't mean anything to anybody really. That's
Well, it says Bowling Green underneath.
Bowling Green.
yeah, but
Bowling
pavilion
pavilion.
doesn't mean anything to anybody, does it?
That's just how it's listed
It's
on
actually
maps.
Well, have we got permission to use that map?
because we've had license to.
Parish online.
Can we not
Well, we
actually
should-
change it?
To what?
The in-house bowling club. It's or whatever they call themselves.
They are, what do they call themselves?
I think.
No,
Bitten Park Bowling Club.
Bitten Park Bowling Club.
I just thought it was more sensible to have that.
Yeah.
Because
Change.
that's what it is.
Take them both out, put that in.
So if you can get it corrected or changed. Okay,
This is correct.
all right, yeah.
On the next page, there's a kitchen that can be used with provided cups and water. Do we need to put hot and cold, hot and cold water because the boiling things there, isn't it?
And then,
Yeah,
Because that means, they've got access to hot water rather than whatever.
it's got hot and cold water and a dishwasher. You might want to mention.
yeah.
Well, yeah, add that then. Are you taking
You know,
that?
someone may come in and that.
Sorry?
Don't want you to come
Well, it
in
might be
like
back
that.
in the washing machine, I think you can do that for them to get that. I also wondered about, you can bring your own refreshments by arrangements, or we could provide a list of caterers you could contact. Because we talked about this before, didn't we, about having a list of lost.
So you're saying we should add the caterers?
Well, I mean, as a start,
I think the problem with that is you get complaints, well, why didn't you recommend me? And they change so often.
Yeah.
People appear and disappear.
That's the caterer's name on their punches, Steve.
Sponsor the brochure. Well, yeah, but then it's about,
either that or, search Google, Teignmouth catering, outside catering, and you will get all sorts of people in Sheffield and all sorts of things. But hey,
It works fine as it is. If they're bringing caterers in, they pay the kitchen fee. If they're just making cups of tea, they don't.
that's all right. Page 14, that's 2 on. Number 2 down, kitchens and drinks. I've got hot and cold water again. I wasn't sure a couple further down. We've got all this cider. There it was. But I can still talk around it if you've got the paper copy or not. There's a listed display board and then a fixed projector screen in the chambers. Now, I'm confused now whether that's this or what a display board is. It's just
Display board.
right. So
that's not a display board, no. The display board, so the fold up blue.
Oh, it's not
those.
right. Yeah.
Do we need to put some dimensions on it so that people know what they're looking at?
I-
Again, do we need it as it is?
If they want, they're asked.
I think if you come into the booking form, when you book a display board, it does give you a description of the booking form.
Ah, right.
Yeah, good answer.
Nice one. And then on the next page, the outside event equipment hire, we talked about deposits a while back.
Indeed.
I can't
Yeah.
remember what we decided on because it's charged with and or loss,
Yeah, we should have that.
because there's no guarantee. Somebody won't decide to steal the thing over from outside or the wind might, it could be active.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
there ought to be some mention made that you don't just get away with people mishandling
Yeah.
and damaging the stuff without there being some level of enforcement.
But that's how.
We actually made a charge to the parade the other day because it's built very parquet floor in there.
Nice.
Change. So you get your charge.
Page 17, the bottom photograph. Is it possible to do that in daylight somehow? It looks like all the shutters are closed. And
Sure, yeah.
no, the next one, that one. See what I mean? It all looks a bit dull and dingy, whereas actually, if you've got all the shutters open, that would look quite pretty.
Yeah, but let's look at it. Too, right?
I think you might have the shutters open there, but the lights are on. I think it's lit from behind. You can see the daylight coming in through the shutters behind the top
On
table.
the left-hand side,
Which is incredible. I think, yeah, it might be, yeah.
because you've got all the electric lights on quite
Yeah.
brightly. And that's a very light and airy room when it's got its shutters on.
Well, next time we have a layout like that, we'll photograph.
And then my PS to existence on the next page. There's 3 photographs. The first one, look at the carpet. Here you go. Ah, right, it's this one. Come back. Right, first one's got a really big patterned carpet. The second one's got the blue carpet. Is that? That's in the chambers. I couldn't work out whether that
Yeah.
was the window.
Parlour, chambers, bar.
It might be worth putting something on it, because some smart aleck really might say, look, that carpet's different, but definitely people wanted to change the photographs.
Well, it's key to where the photos are, which
Yeah,
was.
it's like chamber 1, chamber 2, there's colour.
Okay, so it's just key to which rooms it pertains. Just some text beside each.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also just take the wedding setups, like the wedding layouts. And UP apostrophe S is not right. No apostrophe. But just layouts. I thought about it. I also picked up the thing about if you book already on one, you see something to sit, that's one. That's, just trying to be helpful, not trying to be helpful.
It's very good.
That's what it's here for, cash.
Possibly guys.
Listen, I didn't learn to do apostrophes until I had to teach English. I actually learned the difficult ones.
Each is had its own.
I have that book in me. I also have a book about the problems of being oversensitive. My good friends know me very well. But no, I mean, grammar is fun, and we ought to get it right as an institution. And as I say, I didn't learn how to do apostrophes until I was at 27. I got away, I weed it till then. I knew that it is, don't was leading something else, so I knew those, but I was never clear about the possessive ones, so I just used to wing that and never got caught. But when I had to teach with kids with learning difficulties, I thought I could be stuck around and do it. But now I know.
The corrections do we need to accept or reject? And go ahead and publish.
Or could I propose that we do it with the amendments as discussed?
If you, yeah,
Are we happy to have? Shall I make those amendments?
Yeah.
one further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think well done. Well, welcome to Polly. Polly did that. Well done to Ollie. Yeah. We were getting put that with the majority, so.
She's at the weddings and some.
She said.
The weddings and some.
That's what he said.
You, actually.
We can get on.
Okay. She said that's weddings and some.
Right, that's good. Item 9, the health and safety.
Yes, we had a recent visit from our fire safety officer. As our annual, not annual, our regular fire safety review visits, and we raised the issue of the curtains in the chambers, and whether he couldn't find anything on so whether they were flammable, because they're material. I said, well, they've probably got quite a lot of nicotine in them over the years. And I think we either need to discuss whether we replace them or remove them completely. Because they can't stay as they are.
It's AKA like
Yeah.
this, there used to be curtains
So
here.
it should be curtains and a helmet, and which was removed.
And they don't get functionally used
No.
particularly.
They're only there as window dressings for things.
Because you can't particularly draw them close because of the fire access
Stick
to the ground.
and the fire exit signage.
I always think that it's nice when you've got a do on, like when we did Sylvia's do, to be able to pull the curtain.
But you can't because you've got the fire access.
So they're not pulled.
Well, they probably were, but I'm saying you were blocking the fire access.
Well, there's only not 2 fire exits.
Or to an issue.
And you've got curtains on the doors, which again shouldn't be there.
Shouldn't be there.
Once it's expecting that window that size, the cost would be.
As we see.
And you'd want durably fire retardant material so that you can wash it, so it's not fire.
If we got rid of those, could we update the dividing screen between chambers? That looks pretty good.
That I had serviced when I first started here because it never had been serviced. And a number of the buildings are Cs, MLBCs. We have a replacement cost, which in 2019 was £6,000. It still sits in the budget. We have the money there. However, you can't replace the divider because it's acoustic. It will be big and heavy, but it will be better than what was 30 years ago. However, the floor underneath it needs to be leveled. So I couldn't do the divider until we leveled that section, which is currently down floor, which I've suggested get rid of heavy those chambers. So A bit of time and B quite expensive. And they don't get to use. Yeah.
Well, we would need
And
We've got a road doctor on this and had to stop because this road doctor took all the time. That's why they're so scruffy.
It's a bit like the curtains on the main station on crash tinkle themselves, actually, it just disappeared into dust.
Well, so what we're saying basically, that the curtains actually don't serve any purpose, and to replace them would cost a phenomenal
It
amount
doesn't
of
stop them
money.
being replaced
No, but
sometime in the future.
so, but at this moment in time, we've got shutters on the door, on the
Shutters on the
windows,
windows, yeah.
so we've got something that security wise, if needed. They don't actually serve a purpose, they are a fire risk,
Yeah.
and if we did replace it, it would cost a phenomenal amount of money for something that really isn't of use.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
That's the bottom line.
so, I don't, so I'd say get rid of themselves,
Well,
I'd propose.
Whatever happens, as part of the fire assessment, they've got to go. We're just going to say so they will be being taken down very near future. Whatever you decide about, we want to replace them.
Well, I propose that we follow the fire safety review recommendations and take them down.
I second,
Two of the first class in the. Yeah, that's.
Have the furniture do have the change. Yes.
Sponsored, but that's.
Yeah.
And the one in this room shows
Shows how
culture
that's
now
how, so
gone.
we may need to take some new photos of this before we. Yeah.
Well, good time to do it all together.
you,
Then,
Fran.
isn't
Take
it?
it
Then
down.
we have a first class, and then
Yeah.
do pressure.
can I ask, what did your photos for the, sort of the room on the actually said?
Probably historic.
Well, or they'd be taken by somebody's phone, I expect. So
Yeah, they weren't a photo shoot, they were photos from sometime in the past. Yeah.
So it might be worthwhile getting a professional photographer to do it. Not rolling that.
It's a room.
It's just the room.
It's just the room.
Doesn't need to be paid or anything like
Haven't might not be much.
Did you second that?
I did second that, sorry.
Charles,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
thank you. Look for the next one. Yeah.
Well, okay.
To be fair, the correct have their drawbacks.
They do.
Oh,
Yes, and,
I
item 10, which on the agenda, the CCTV volunteers. You, that's it.
Yes, we recently had a review.
It was on here.
Yeah, is it part of the pack or not?
I thought it was, but.
No, it's just a vote. Okay, apologies if that's missing.
So, old system, we used to have some volunteers. Everything's changed, and technology has changed. The intention was we would always try and recruit more volunteers. And now is probably the time. So Holly had prepared some publicity to go to get an advertiser.
Yeah.
Obviously, anybody that's recruited would have to be heavily vetted. They'll have to have enhanced DBS, they'll have to have training. And if we restore the police radio to the CCTV room, they will require a level 2 police clearance, which currently is only held by me, Cliff and Jared. And the intention would be that they would draw off information for the police, not particularly staff unless it was urgent, and that they would be encouraged to staff the CCTV during events, Carnival Week, that sort of thing. That's it really. But there's no real way of recruiting people without going public. So we've been sort of do we, don't we? What the reality is, and especially with new cameras coming on stream, yeah, it's getting busier, not quieter. CCTV.
Would we be subject to interview?
Oh yeah,
Or we?
one of the three of us, or multiple of the three of us, and it's quite a commitment.
Yeah.
Would the police wish for any involvement in? Don't know, they'll do it.
No, they're only interested if there's a police radio. The one thing we would have to put them through is the CCTV train calls that what's called door staff being run.
Oh,
Sorry.
SIA. Yeah. that is a recommendation, it's not compulsory, but it is a recommendation. But that is 2 days, which would be. And
Is that on site on their equipment or off site only somebody
that's
else's?
probably how we'd have to do it. We'd need a sufficient mass of people to do that. Because I don't think we want to be sending them
No,
miles up country.
trying to bring an accredited trainer
Yeah.
here and give us that.
Costs involved in that?
It's probably going to be £1,000 a day.
Each or?
No, if you brought a trainer in and we set this room up and they did it in here or whatever, so that's a couple of grand. That's why you want to get all your volunteers through in one batch.
How many volunteers are you?
Practically speaking, somewhere between 6 and 10. 10 is probably too many, because if you don't use it, you'll lose it. In terms of, but then you don't want it to be too overexcited. So, you know, I mean, the old system before it failed, there was one or they used to, and it was partly for them a social thing. You know, and then sit and talk. But they would man Fridays and Saturdays evenings, because that, you know, the Fridays during the summer usually a real bonus in timber. So it's not necessarily for agreement, it's just to know really, and we'll put the advert out. But I said don't put the advert out until we've said what.
So we'll advertise it through the newspaper
Yeah,
and the website.
Yeah.
We could actually wait and see what the response is.
Exactly.
So how many we need.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think they're going to be killed in the rush.
So it might be inundated
But or not.
or not. Don't know until we try it. So. Okay.
Very happy. Yeah. Just a quick one then. Is the radio end of it more training and thus an extra cost or?
Not extra cost, no, then the police would, there's just a police radio, a desk version of it. But obviously you can't turn it on unless you are cleared.
No, but I mean, I was thinking in terms of things like carnival when the kids were all rucking and rolling, rushing about the place, and it would be useful
To be able to get information to.
So effectively, when you sign on, you just become a police officer with a specific call sign, and they can call you or you can call them.
so that if
Send
the
messages.
user was working as such, if we
Yeah.
had the names.
Well, but when you go on, you log on, so they know you're working, and vice versa, you would know. you're
Right,
working.
okay. Yeah.
Any more comments? No? Recap on any new actions raised from this meeting. So,
Just to let Sally know, we're gonna have to try and go possibly draft something to say, you know, some terms for the triangle, I suppose, going forward, at least for the first 6 months. Yeah. Draft something for the chat bench. Make some changes to the Rittenhouse branding thing, get notice board, which we touched on today, and then for volunteers for CCTVs.
They can all be covered in the actual license.
Start something because we took a postcard and we've agreed to the branding for the Britain House. I'm aware of that I said about professional photographer, but if the idea is that we want to promote Britain House as a place for people to have their wedding, is it worthwhile to actually invest? Because I have no idea how much it costs, shall I say, when we have our photos done by one of the local photographers to actually, because looking at that picture of the seating, I could look at that and work on that if they'd used the camera with a different lens or, you know, put more light and played with it, they could have made that look a little bit more special, what it actually is. That doesn't sell that room well. So if you actually got someone in who actually knows what they're doing, that may actually bring you more people, more customers in. Is it worthwhile that investment to actually look to see how much it would cost to have someone come along? Actually knows it, or if you've got something that
So
staff you.
as Jared, just as reminded me or correctly pointed me, we do have a photography firm that is one of our tenants upstairs. So whether or not we could ask Chris if we could do it.
Yeah.
Or as a
It might, I think
payment,
it's,
so we put
Like, so
a comfortable mates rate sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I think it's sometimes spoiling the ship for a haven time.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll have a chat with Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do I, we need that one? No, it's everybody.
find out.
Everyone happy? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, that's the next meeting, the 30th of March, 2026. And the meeting's closed 16:37.
Thank you.
Thank you all for attending.
It's in, it's not.